Oral questions, questions orales. The honourable member for Thornhill.
National credit card got quite the workout. $37 billion in new inflationary spending, nearly $1,000 for every Canadian. And who pays? Canadian families forced to max out their own credit cards to buy groceries and pay the rent. And for all of that spending, we still have the highest food inflation in the G7, the highest housing prices, and now we spend more to service the debt than we do on health care to the provinces. Mr. Speaker, when does this government stop tabling reckless credit card budgets so the Canadian families can just afford to get by?
That's right. The honourable member for Minister for Jobs and Families.
Mr. Speaker, if investing in skilled trades workers and opportunities for young people and helping apprentices in the pipeline finish with their red seals is inflationary, unnecessary spending, I guess we see where these guys are going in terms of their support. But let me tell you what the building trades union said yesterday. Sean Strickland, Robert Kucherin, and so many other building trades unions from across the country. They said, go hard, go far, and they're so happy with the investment in workers across this country, and they can't believe the Conservative Party won't get behind them.
The honourable member for Thornhill.
I am glad that that minister improved her self-control this time around, and I'm not surprised that another Trudeau holdover is pretending that everything is fine. The reality is this Liberal government has killed the middle class. It's killed the very workers that it's now purporting to protect. For more than a decade, with higher taxes and inflationary spending, the $37 billion of new spending from the latest credit card budget is only going to make things worse, and everybody knows that. So once again, will they stop the delusion and stop the spending so the Canadians can actually get ahead?
The honourable minister.
Well, I don't know which Canadians she's talking about, Mr. Speaker, but let me talk about some of the hard-working people across the country that are working so hard together to build up this country. People like electricians and plumbers and automotive technicians and crane operators and heavy equipment operators. In fact, many of our sons and daughters all across this country who are getting their skilled trades training but having a hard time getting through. And you know what, Mr. Speaker? We're going to make sure that no one gets left behind. It's more than we can say for these guys.
The honourable member for Regina Capel.
This week's costly budget update shows the Liberals are continuing their decade of credit card budgeting. More costs, more debt, more taxes, just more of the same. It turns out this Prime Minister is not some kind of financial expert. He's just another costly Liberal. His deficit is double Justin Trudeau's. He's forcing Canadians to pay more on interest than on the debt than on health care. And what's the result? They've delivered the worst inflation in 40 years, the worst food price inflation, the only shrinking economy in the G7. So when will this Liberal Prime Minister end his costly credit card budgeting so Canadians can afford to live?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Labour.
Knows very well that Canada is in the best fiscal position in the G7. But, Mr. Speaker, yesterday in question period, I didn't hear the Conservatives mention the word workers once. So let's hear from workers directly. Let's hear from Colin Daniels, who represents Saskatchewan Building Trades and is one of the member of the mighty iron workers, Mr. Speaker. What Colin Daniels says is this is a historic announcement from the Liberal government supporting apprentices and iron worker training centres through investments like UTIP. This is a critical part in delivering Canada's historic level of infrastructure investment. These are nation-building projects, depend on a strong, skilled workforce.
The honourable member for Regina Capel.
Workers are tired of seeing their paychecks devalued by Liberal inflation, Mr. Speaker. That's what workers are saying across this country. But after nearly a decade of this costly Liberal government, Canadians are maxed out while this Prime Minister has maxed out the country's credit card. If we want to play the quote game, don't take my word for it. Even the Globe and Mail wrote, quote, the Trudeau government did all sorts of things that steadily made matters worse, fiscally and economically speaking. The new Prime Minister's government will do almost nothing to make them better. So again, will these Liberals stop with the credit card budgeting so that Canadians can afford to live?
The Honourable Minister of Housing and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, our spring economic update is making very smart investments and making life more affordable for Canadians. The opposition doesn't seem to ever want to talk about affordable housing and the success that we are having, bringing rents down for 18 months in a row. And in this update, we're seeing up to 100,000 Canadian workers that are going to help build the affordable housing for the decades to come. Make sure life is more affordable, especially for young Canadians looking for that first-time home buyer's tax break and the ability to have a career building homes for Canadians. Thank you.
Député de Charlebourg, Haute-Saint.
The Honourable Member for Charlebourg, Haute-Saint-Charles. Mr. Speaker, during the 2025 election campaign, the Prime Minister portrayed himself as a rigorous economist. But today, Emmanuel Latraverse of the Journal de Montréal makes it clear that he's really more of a liberal politician than an economist. Why? Because in his economic update, he's increasing spending, has no plan to balance the budget, and is saddling us with deficits for many years to come. An economist, however, would have enforced discipline. He, on the other hand, is multiplying programs and putting off difficult decisions. Why is the Prime Minister acting like a profligate liberal rather than the serious fiscal steward he presented himself as? The Honourable Minister of Industry. Well, I'm really flabbergasted that the Conservatives don't seem to take the tariff war seriously. So we're dealing with the American issue, and we're also working to build a strong economy. We're protecting our social safety, and our deficit is $11 billion lower than forecasted. We're here to support Canadians. And we have the second fastest economic growth in the G7. Also, we have the best, strongest fiscal situation in the G7.
Haute-Saint-Charles.
The Honourable Member for Charlebourg, Haute-Saint-Charles. Well, I'm proud to make the minister flabbergasted, but you know what's flabbergasting and shocking is that nothing's been fixed. The tariffs are still in place. They've actually been increased recently on steel. And, you know, with this Prime Minister's economic update, it's just a budget that continues to spend and spend with no real solutions to fix the problems we're experiencing right now. Can the minister give a real, significant answer? The Honourable Minister. Well, the real solutions are very obvious. We have created many jobs in the past 6 months, more than the Conservatives created. Also, we maintained the second strongest economic growth in the G7, and we have the strongest fiscal situation in the G7. That said, we know that Canadians need help. We know that gas prices have increased. We know that groceries are still too expensive. That's why we have our social safety net, and that's why we're here to help Canadians from coast to coast to coast.